Guys, I think we should just start. We should start slow. We can ramp it up, amp it up.
I don't know if I have the energy left. Anthony's already worn me down before the podcast even started.
That's what I was just saying. I wanted to get it on camera so people could see how ridiculous he is.
What were you talking about? What were you talking about earlier?
Okay, well, this is kind of actually a good lead-in because we wanted to talk about personal responsibility.
Ooh.
I don't hear you. I don't think you're...
I am.
Oh, yeah, you are.
So really quick, I guess we've never really addressed this on our podcast, but none of us are experts in anything. So just...
oh, yeah, maybe we should have made that clear before the first episode. Just so you guys know, we know nothing.
We're all retarded.
I like to call us just observers of our surroundings. Okay.
Yeah,
so
this is just an opinion show. It's just like a...
Yeah.
Just like you
nothing
hanging out
we
with your
say
buddies.
should ever be taken seriously.
Yeah, just hanging out with your buddies, just talking, arguing.
Okay, so Paul, you were talking about personal responsibility earlier.
Yeah, is it personal? Is that what you would call it?
I mean, that's what I call it. Paul. Oh, that's what I call it. Paul.
I don't hear you.
You don't hear me?
No.
You can hear him. You're fine.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
Well, I can hear that.
Thank you. Now I have to go in and thank you once again.
Okay, I call it personal responsibility. Paul thinks that...
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Let's rewind. This all started from the idea, can you be addicted to Instagram? Can you be addicted, which, yes, you obviously can. But
Absolutely.
You were saying...
You claimed someone was addicted to Instagram.
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely. It's completely possible, and I think most people are. Not just Instagram, but to cell phones, social media, just
absolutely.
Having things like that at your fingertips, it makes it easy to get addicted to.
Yeah.
And then Paul, out of like nowhere, like we're having a conversation, Paul's kind of over there, left field, and he goes, kind of whispers, almost like he's whispering to a mic and goes, but can you blame him? Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I said immediately, well, of course, because it's personal responsibility.
Yeah, like it's like you're... Okay, so
like
then...
You're making the choice to do whatever you're doing that you're addicted to. Obviously, I'm not trying to minimize the addiction in any way or say it's not a big deal or it's easy to break the addiction, but there is some personal accountability.
Yeah, but I don't think you could be like, you can't be mad at the person or blame the person for being addicted to Instagram.
So who would you be angry at? If you're upset, where are you going to address that anger to? Where are you going to put that anger? If you're addicted to Instagram and you're angry because you realize you're addicted to Instagram, who are you going to be mad at?
And I'm angry because I'm addicted to Instagram?
Yeah, you realize that you're addicted to Instagram. We can use any addiction, but we're just using Instagram because that's how the conversation got started. You realize that you're addicted to Instagram and you're upset now.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I'm addicted to Instagram.
Uh-huh.
Where are you going to put that anger? Where are you going to address that anger?
Or where are you going to address the issue?
Yeah, like where does that anger come from? Like who's responsible for that anger?
What a weird question. I don't know.
Is that a weird question?
I think it's the...
Should I phrase it?
What do you think? Who do you think? I mean, the addiction isn't even what we were really like talking about with the personal responsibility. It's like a bad example, basically, like being addicted to Instagram.
Well, just being an addiction. We're talking about accountability. So the conversation got started because of someone being addicted to their phone.
So would you blame the person for not having the will to get off Instagram, or would you blame Instagram?
Who do you want to blame? That's the question.
But it doesn't have to be a person to blame.
If you don't want to use Instagram, use something else.
Well, you always say like, who do you want to blame? Like, who do you blame then? But that's the same thing. To me, that's the same thing as saying, who are you going to blame that the sky is blue? Like, it just is like that. It doesn't have to always be a person to blame. But this Instagram addiction thing is not a good example.
It's not a good example because he doesn't have a good argument for it.
No. It's not what I was. It's not even the same subject. So
okay, well, give me the subject.
What I was saying was like, let's say like I murder Kyle. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
That's tough.
Can you blame? Can you? Like, I know I have to pay the consequences.
Yeah.
But can you blame me?
Yes, 1,000,000%, 100%.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I just want to state this really quickly because before we get started, Paul said, Kyle's going to agree with me, right? Because he's sane, and meaning him. So, and I said, you're completely wrong. Kyle will agree with me.
Then I said he's probably going to agree with you.
Yeah.
But
so yes,
but
absolutely. If you murder someone,
but I didn't. But
I have something to say actually.
Yeah.
But I don't want to cut you off.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have wanted to murder you. I just did.
Yeah.
But it's not my fault.
Oh my God.
But whose fault is it then?
See, this is
it
where
doesn't have to be a person's fault. It's the same thing as saying whose fault is it?
This is going down a very dangerous path, and I'll tell you why. It's because you start blaming things that are so ambiguous and so hard to pinpoint, things like, say, society. Oh, society was the reason I killed him, right? But what the reality is that it is, at that point, you create an issue which is impossible to fix. You've created a phantom fog reason for why you did something, when at the end of the day, like I think as a country, we are getting away from the idea of accountability, of self-responsibility, we are always, it's so much easier as a person.
It's called evolution.
It's so much easier to
It's called evolution.
Yeah, it's called evolving as a species.
we are
What's evolving?
we currently
Hold on.
seem to
What's
be,
evolving? Not taking accountability for things?
Not thinking that this is this person's fault, and this is this person's fault, and this is this person's fault.
And evolving to what?
And just realizing that they were programmed to do that.
Programmed.
Some way, and it's not their fault. They still need to be accountable, and they can't just be loose in the world because they might do it again.
this is
But
such
it's
an
not that-
easy
you can't
cop out.
You
Yeah,
can't
it
get
is.
mad at that.
It is.
Yes,
you
you
can't get
can.
mad at
But-
that.
but-
And that's what
this is
people
a-
end up doing after when they're like
This is a
80.
good point.
And
This is a good point, though. Hold on. This is a good point because he just said you can have them suffer the consequences. So you want them to suffer the consequences of murdering someone, but then say in the same sentence, but they're not responsible for it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Could you imagine just locking people up for things that they weren't responsible for?
No.
That's what you just said.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You
This
just
doesn't
said
address.
you just said you would lock up someone who killed someone, but then say you're not responsible for it, but we're locking you up.
No, they're responsible for the consequences. Yeah.
Responsible for the consequences,
Are
but not
you?
for the action.
Okay, I'm gonna try to translate Paul because
I really want to hear.
No, yeah, they're not responsible for the action, but
the consequences of the
you
action.
said, can you imagine locking someone up for something that they're not responsible for?
And that's what you're claiming.
No, but
to lock people up for things that they're not responsible for.
No, but they still did it. You have to lock people up that did it. I can't
they're
just
not
lock you
responsible.
up for not being responsible. I can't lock you up.
I think
for
Paul is trying to bring
for
more
a
empathy
shooting.
into the.
I can't lock you up for a shooting that you're not responsible for. But if you did it, then I have to lock you up.
But I'm not responsible for it. Someone else is to blame. Something, or someone else is to blame. So why lock me up?
Do you see how dangerous
Because
it
you
is
still
to
did
blame
it.
something
No,
That's what I was
else?
trying to use.
because
That's what
you
I'm trying to
still did it, and you're gonna do it again, maybe. So we need to lock
How do you know
you
I'm
up.
going to do it again if I'm not responsible for it?
Because you're programmed that way, and you did it once.
What's
and
programming?
you might do it
Yeah.
again.
I want.
Explain
Okay,
your
let's go
program.
deeper. So
Yeah.
say this theory of yours is legitimate.
It's not.
So then let's go deeper into your theory. What is? Who's? I'm sorry.
The program.
What is the pro? Yeah.
Yeah.
What program?
You said program
to do
to do
something?
it.
Because now we're talking about things that
Nature
like things
and
like
nurture.
things like systemic. Like when you say systemic misogyny, right? It's like, well, okay, are you talking about things that are biological? Are you talking about things that it's very hard to fight something like racism and misogyny on a grand level when you say it's systemic, because what are you going to fight? What is the solution? There is no solution. The only way you can fight these types of things are on an individual basis. And you always have, if there's an act of racism, there's an act of misogyny, right? That you can say this happened here and this did this. Let's fight it together. But this whole idea that there's some system that we can't even pinpoint it's so unclear.
In Paul's theory, we would be lost as a society. We would be completely messed up because we couldn't hold anybody to any accountability for anything, because you in the same
they're
sentence.
still accountable.
I'm going back to that line. You want to send someone to jail or prison for an action they did that they're not responsible for.
No, you're twisting the words.
Okay, well, please rephrase it the way you want to rephrase it, or the way the correct
They're-
way. Because you said they're responsible for the action, but
Yeah, they did it.
but they're not responsible for it.
So when you say you want to send someone to jail for something they're not responsible for, that sounds like you want to send an innocent person to jail.
Well, yeah, because you said that they're not responsible for it.
No.
For a
Do
shooting.
you see what he's doing?
He's attempting to poke holes in your theory.
Yeah. So
No,
tell
but
me.
you're twisting the words
Okay,
around.
we're gonna let's just.
I don't want you to send innocent people to jail.
Let's go. Let's jump back. Let's jump back to the very first line. You killed Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you want everyone.
I don't want to send you to jail.
No, hold on. Let me finish. So you want everyone to not blame you, to be mad at you or blame you for killing Kyle.
Yeah, but
in
I
the
understand.
in the same sentence, we're gonna go. But Paul, you're going to prison for 30 years
Yeah.
because we're worried you might do it again because you're programmed to do that.
Well, ideally, it's not going to be a prison. That's going to be like. I'm glad this is like on digital recording because in like 50 years I can look back and see how right I was. But like,
Let's hear it. Yeah.
So like, so prison's old school thing. So is an old school idea. Just put them in a cage.
I agree with that.
So-
But that's another topic. The prison
Okay,
system.
so instead of, they still have to be accountable for what they did. They have to go to like a reformation hospital or something and learn the right way to behave. But you can't just, you can't be mad at them for doing what they did.
So they had no choice.
No.
Wow.
Well,
How are we even here? If no one has no one can control their choices to decisions they make.
that
What?
actually takes
What
a
does
lot
that
of
mean?
that
Okay,
takes a lot of
you-
power away from the.
Yeah, you rode your motorcycle over here today. Did you make the choice to do that?
No, I had to get here.
But did you make the choice to come here? Or did someone else control you to get you over here?
not someone,
Something?
not something.
Okay, well, then what else is there?
It just happened. Just like the sky is
No.
blue. Just like the moon orbits the earth, it's just the same thing.
No.
I came here, and I don't have any
But-
other mode of transportation,
but-
so I rode my motorcycle.
Well, but why did you decide to come?
Why did I decide to come?
Yeah.
I didn't. So you can't say why did
You didn't decide to come?
No.
Did you decide to send me a text message to make sure that I wasn't late today?
No.
But-
I just did.
But then you were late?
Oh God.
Yeah. So I sent you the text message. I didn't
Yeah.
decide to send it, and then I was late. I didn't decide to be late.
You didn't decide to. Oh,
You think I decided-
No.
you
That's
think I
that's-
decide- yeah,
hold on,
it
that's
is perfect.
That's
It
perfect.
is perfect.
That's perfect because when he walked in, he said, "I'm sorry for being late.
Yeah.
I decided to be selfish and stop intelligentsia to get a muffin and espresso." That's your exact line. You walked in and said, "I'm sorry for being late. I decided to be selfish and stop at intelligentsia to get espresso and a muffin." Can you believe how expensive the muffins are? They're like $7.
They call them pies.
Yeah, that was your
I
line.
didn't buy it.
That was his line. He came in and said, "I'm sorry I was late, guys. I decided to be selfish."
Here's
I
the,
thought I
Can you,
decided
can
to
you
be.
let him respond to that?
Okay, I thought I decided to be selfish at the time, but I was mistaken. I actually just was selfish.
Okay. Let me tell you that I don't think in 50 years you're going to look back at this and feel good about it. I also
he's gonna look
because
back at you and be like,
I
"That was
promise
crazy."
because this look, I'm always about efficiency and like the best way to tackle certain problems. And if you can't even take responsibility for a decision that you've made,
That's why I said sorry. That's why I apologized, because I know I'm still to be accountable for it. And I'm still
But you
responsible.
can't. Those things. Then you're contradicting yourself. You can't apologize for an action that you're not responsible for. You can't say you're responsible for or not responsible for it, but then take accountability for it and apologize. Those you're contradicting yourself.
this idea is
It's like slapping someone and saying, "I'm sorry, I slapped you," and then you keep slapping them. I'm sorry for slapping you.
No. You can slap someone and say I'm sorry for slapping them, but you threw in the and then keep slapping them part. So that was wrong.
wait, hold
Why?
on.
Because I didn't.
I'm sorry that I keep slapping you, and you keep slapping them.
No.
Because I
Don't
really don't
say-
want to slap you, but I keep slapping.
Don't say
sorry.
keep slapping and keep slapping.
Yeah.
Just say I slapped you. I'm sorry I slapped you.
But then you slap them again.
No. Who
Without-
said anything about again? I'm not
Me.
repeating the behavior.
Yeah, you do. You repeat it every day. Every time you make an action.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try. Not gonna be late again.
You're not?
Why are you throwing in the and then you keep slapping them and you're slapping them again?
This is
If I
this
got like
is
really mad out of nowhere
this is-
and then I slapped you, like I have before.
The idea,
And then I come and I apologize.
the idea
Because
that
it wasn't
you're
me that did that.
That's not true.
No, you
That's
did it. You
that's-
did it.
That's what we're.
You did it.
No, I
that's
didn't.
That's what we're missing here.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
it was
like-
your hands.
Yeah,
It was your-
and it was my body, but it wasn't like when I'm saying me, I'm talking about like the Paul.
Who's gonna?
But that's not me.
Are you?
Who are you?
Who
then?
are you? Are you your
I'm
consciousness?
you. Yeah.
Oh God.
And I didn't mean to
Here we
do
go.
it.
But here, but this is
Paul
this
didn't
is the
mean to do it, but he did
Then
because
why'd you
he's
apologize?
because he has
this
a
is
temper.
this
If
is
you
the
didn't mean to do
classic. This is the
because
classic.
I'm apologizing on Paul's behalf because I know that I represent him.
I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna say this quote again. This is my favorite quote. It says, "Have an
So,
open
hold on.
mind, but not so open that your brain falls out." Okay.
Hold on.
Everyone wants to interrupt.
Hold on, really quickly.
Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Really quickly?
See, I don't blame you for interrupting
Oh,
right now
you
because I
don't?
know that's in your nature.
You don't? Then why do you get upset with me? He gets
Yeah,
furious.
because it's in my nature to get upset.
Oh God.
Okay, what about the scorpion and the toad? Okay, the story about the scorpion and the toad. The scorpion is trying to cross the river and it sees a toad and it says, "Hey, toad, can you carry me across the river?" And the toad says, "No, because you're going to sting me and then I'm going to die. So I'm not carrying you across the river." And the scorpion says, "If I sting you, you're going to drown halfway through and then I'm going to drown because I don't know how to swim. So I'm not going to sting you." The toad goes, "Yeah, good point." Something like you would do, like, "I'm not going to do that because of this." So and try to manipulate. And then so the toad says, "All right, fine, hop on." And then
Wait, are
the
you the toad?
scorpion
Am I
gets
the
on the
scorpion
toad.
and you're the toad?
We're all both of them. So the scorpion gets on the toad's back and starts swimming, and the scorpion stings him, and then he starts to die. And then the scorpion's drowning, and the toad's starting to die. And the toad, before he goes under, he says, "Why did you sting me? Now we're both gonna die." And the scorpion goes, "It's not my fault. It's in my nature." And that's the end of the story.
And they both drown and die.
The
Yeah.
problem with this is that it's so unbelievably inconsistent.
And it's in the toad's nature to. All right,
That's
go.
a-
Sorry, go.
It's
Sorry,
That's
go.
a good point.
It's
so
just
inconsistent.
it's just inconsistent because you can apply this to so many things, and then all of a sudden, if something comes up, you're like, well, wait a second. It's like
Because he contradicts himself.
It's
Just
just
when he
be-
came in and apologized. He said, "I decided to be."
I really want to kind of clarify on what I was saying about the
Go ahead.
misogyny
Yeah,
and
go
like
ahead.
the racism thing is that we can all agree that it's terrible. It's a very low form of thinking, right? You know, it's judging someone on their melanin, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want to approach this with saying it's systemic, and the civil rights movement happened very recently. We're talking like what, 50 years ago, whatever, 60s,
Yeah.
whatever.
Recently.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty, and so there's still tension. However, when you attempt to attack that problem with the idea of attacking systemic racism or systemic sexism, whatever it might be, it makes it actually more difficult to accomplish.
It makes it impossible.
It makes it impossible. So what I'm saying is that by attacking it on an individual basis, case by case scenario, and consistently striking it down,
Yeah.
and you can start by. It makes it a lot easier to tackle the problem rather than, like I said, fighting this phantom idea of systemic. There's no way to fight systemic anything because it's you can't pinpoint it. So it gets back to the idea of accountability and responsibility within the individual. And I'm always I'm a big
And that's interesting too. 'cause-
promoter of the individual over the group.
Yeah. Do we know? Has it ever been proven that someone was ever born a racist?
Probably not.
Okay, so it's not programmed in them to be a racist,
Okay.
right? Someone teaches them
from
or
nature. No.
I guess that would be part of the systemic.
But there's also nurture programming from the way they were brought up. If you were
Nerd-
brought up
nerd-
in
yeah.
a white school in Louisiana.
But you're saying they're programmed a certain way, like you're programmed a certain way
From nature
Kids-
or nurture.
so it's
From
both.
genetics or from upbringing.
So it's both.
Yeah. So what if you were
It's not just programmed like from birth.
No, that could be part of it. That's half of it. The other half is nurture.
Okay.
So what if you were? Can you blame someone? I'm not standing up for racists, but can you blame someone for being racist if they were?
If they grew up in that environment,
Absolutely.
or if they had someone.
Well, let them finish. Let them finish.
Yeah.
If they're born in the environment.
born in that environment,
Yeah, absolutely.
and you
blame them.
can't pinpoint where the problem comes from, but you can just override it by creating good programming from the beginning. So you don't have to find where the root cause is in order to extract it. You can just override with good programming from schooling.
Well, here's
making sure kids aren't racist and bullying from school.
That is true, but now here, racism is terrible for business. Like, it's terrible. So, meaning if you have someone that's able to provide you with a better service, I mean, like the people that actually judge someone on their skin color
Are usually
are
stupid.
Are very stupid.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that like maybe biology has something to do with this, right? Because I mean, people, no matter how much you want to fight it, are sometimes smarter than other people. It's just the way that nature works out.
Yeah.
So usually very intelligent people are not racist because they understand that ideas come over skin color. We're in this weird paradigm now where in an effort to attack racism, we're creating groups and we're all basically based on skin color. Like you have these events at colleges where they say, oh yeah, no white people allowed here, right? And you're actually creating groups based on skin color, and it's actually a low form thing. And I understand the idea behind it, but I think that they always say the pathway or the trail, whatever to hell is paved with good intentions, and I think that
what is that saying? What's his name always used to use?
The path to ruin is paved
with good intention.
Yeah.
And that's I think that in an effort to do something good and to fix a solution, it almost like tips the scale and becomes exactly what it was fighting against.
Yeah.
I just in Paul's society.
Thank you for letting me clarify that.
Yeah, in Paul's just imaginary society. Okay, like in your
like a future society. Yeah.
Okay.
Evolved society.
Can you just elaborate a little bit more on? So if you were to kill Kyle, let's go back to that really quickly. You go back and you kill Kyle. In your perfect scenario, then what would happen? If we're in here, I'm in here, and I see you shoot Kyle, okay? And I guess you apologize because you say you apologize to me that I had to witness it, or you apologize to Kyle's dead body and you go, I'm sorry, I didn't have control over it. He's bleeding on the ground, he's dying, okay? And I'm just here like, okay, I don't know, don't kill me.
You're afraid that people are going to take advantage of this unaccountability and start shooting people.
I want to hear it in your perfect scenario.
You know what's funny is that actually a lot of people will, you hear these cases of people claiming
all the time.
like mental instability and they get off.
All the time.
So
they make up all these different types of things, like they were positioned in a certain way to somehow not be responsible for it. But let me just finish this. Okay, so now what in your perfect society? So I pick up the phone and I
Those
call.
people are lying.
Okay, that's strange. So I pick up and I call. Do I call the police? Who do I call?
Well, yeah.
So I call 911.
You can't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the cops come.
Call the health people that reform behavior and
Well,
programming.
that sounds very.
So it's not-
that sounds very like re-education camps.
So is this
fucking
police? So that's what I'm asking. Who do
Nazi,
I call? Do I call
well, right
emergency
now we
service?
only have the only people to call is
But I'm asking
police.
in your perfect scenario,
Yeah,
in your perfect case.
I guess
world.
what do you do when you know someone's definitely dead? Do you just call the morgue?
Well,
call the
still-
coroner.
If there was
No,
a,
you just
if,
call
if there was
911
a-
either way, right?
If there was
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you would call if he just died by natural causes. But obviously, if there's a crime committed, you would call the police still.
Okay, yeah. So
So I
whatever
call
you
the
do.
police. Call 911. They come and they look at the body, and you're just standing here. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming you didn't run away.
No, of course not.
Okay, so he didn't run away. He just
It wasn't
here.
him that did it.
What?
It wasn't him. It was his.
Yeah.
It was.
So
It was Paul's body.
Yeah. So
His consciousness was just observing.
Yeah. So you shoot Kyle. Call 911. They come. Do they even handcuff you?
Yeah, because yeah.
'Cause they're worried-
Wait, are we talking about like in this perfect world?
Yeah.
Oh no, they say, come on, Paul.
They go-
Can't do that stuff. Come on.
So they're disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're disappointed in you.
What
And
about
we're
me?
all-
What about my family?
Yeah, they're very upset.
Okay.
And
yeah,
they're like, "Come on, Paul, you shouldn't have killed him."
hold on, but
Yeah,
they're not
very-
here yet. So
they're very upset.
So the police are here. I'm here.
I'm upset with myself.
They're disappointed in you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're
So
real.
they lock you up. They put you in handcuffs. Take you to the in
They
your
don't
car.
have to put you in handcuffs. They just say, come on, we gotta go, man. Come on.
Okay. So
I'm not
they
mad.
trust
I'm
you-
just disappointed.
They trust you enough. They trust you enough to know that you're not going to try to kill them. Somehow.
No, why would I kill them?
Why'd you kill?
Why'd
Kyle?
you kill me?
Maybe they'll put me in handcuffs.
Okay. Okay. So they put you in handcuffs. Okay. Put you in the
Where's
back
the
of car.
gun that I used?
It was on the table.
Did I give it to them?
It was on the table. You left it on the table.
Oh, they'll take that, and then
Okay.
they won't be afraid. Because now they have like
This
three
is
guns.
a utopia that
Basically.
doesn't exist, unfortunately.
I'm
Yeah.
Because
trying
I
to see
think
what
in
it
the
would look like.
in the
Well, in the
spiritual
medieval times, they would be talking about these times and saying, "Well, this is a utopia that doesn't exist," but it's just yet.
It's a good point.
They're
Okay.
still
It's a
cutting
good
off
point.
heads and
It's a
stuff.
good point. So you're in the car. Where do they take you? Do you immediately go to a sentencing? Do you immediately go to a hospital? Where do you go immediately?
Hey, you go to the hospital.
Immediately go to a hospital.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for that?
But hold on, is it just killers there, like murderers, at these hospitals?
And rapists and yeah, I guess so.
So now
I
they're
haven't,
putting-
I haven't thought about it this far.
You haven't?
Don't play surprised.
I'm surprised you haven't thought about it. You come up
like-
with this, you come
like
up with
if you're
this
like a
genius
robber-
idea that no one's responsible for their actions, and
You're
you don't think a little bit
well,
further.
They bring you to a certain place depending on what you did. So if you're a robber because you're addicted to drugs, then they'll bring you to a rehab. Because
Okay.
you're not going to do that if you're not addicted to drugs.
Okay, and I'm assuming on the car ride there, you're telling them, "Well, I'm addicted to drugs," and they go, "Okay, cool, we'll take you to the rehab then." When you get caught at
Oh,
the
I'm
bank,
not addicted to drugs.
no. When someone gets caught at the bank,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
money, and they arrest him, and they're like, "What'd you do this?" He goes, "Well, I'm addicted to drugs," and they go,
Yeah,
"Okay, cool,
then-
we'll take you to the rehab."
Then they'll test you to make
They just
sure.
believe them, like, "Oh, well,
Well,
you're addicted to drugs. We'll take you
Yeah,
to
they
rehab."
believe you at first, and then they'll test you to make sure. They'll make sure that there's
That
a
you
bunch
have
of
drugs in your system.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you just did it,
And
but
you just
if
did
I'm
it
not
'cause
addicted to
'cause
drugs,
Kyle is better looking than you, and you don't like that.
okay, well then that would be
Thank
like
you,
a
Anthony.
mental institute. If I did it because like he fucked my girlfriend, they would bring me to like an anger management hospital or something
Okay.
like that. If
How
they did it
about-
because I was depressed,
How about they don't know why?
Okay,
And you don't know why-
I figured out what this is. I figured out what all this is. This is Paul wants to reform.
He wants to make a new
Punishment.
universe. Yeah,
He wants to reform punishment and more.
A universe?
I know what you're talking about. I bet you
like
you've read.
concept. You want to make a whole different thing.
You guys heard about this whole thing? Like,
Yeah,
what was that?
yeah.
What was that? Where was that place where they were talking about like the whole village would get together and they would like show the person love when they did something bad?
yeah.
I
Where
think
was that?
It was some.
Do you know about that guy that shot up that school in like a Quaker, like a Pennsylvania Amish, something like that, and and then he killed himself, and then the parents were like, yeah, we're not angry, we forgive him.
Yeah, it's tough to do, but they still need to have
Tough to do,
Hold on,
yeah.
hold on.
But that's what people end
Hold
up
on
doing
a
in the
second.
end when they're on 80, 90 years old and they're on their deathbed. They're like,
Yeah.
You know, it's just-
Hold on. You're kind of like looping around. Forgiveness is absolutely a big thing.
Yes.
Everyone should eventually at some point forgive.
yeah, but
There's
I was
no
just,
need to. There's
I
no
was
need to
using the
hold on to
forgiveness
things.
to show that how they're not mad. They were never mad.
Yeah, but there's no. Well, you don't know that they were never mad.
You no,
Sure, they're mad when they're getting
the
shot up,
moment
or
you
when-
try to suppress
The next
anger,
day, they said we
the
forgive
moment
them.
you try to
The next
suppress
day.
anger,
It's a fact.
is
The
when,
next morning
is
they
when
woke
bad
up.
shit happens.
Very soon after.
Hold
yeah.
on, but I want to just make this point.
All right, what were you
Forgiveness.
saying?
Forgiveness is a big thing.
I know, but that shows that you're not angry.
Because you don't want to live in the past.
That shows that
and
you're not
hold a
angry.
resentment. But that doesn't mean that the person does not still have accountability for their actions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they have to be accountable.
So then forgiveness is a totally different topic.
But if you're forgiving someone, that shows that you're not angry.
At some point, yeah, you can get over the anger.
Yeah, and I was saying he forgave him the next day, which means that he wasn't angry with them.
But they were still angry when it happened. When the guy first killed up the village, they were angry when it first happened.
Probably for a couple minutes.
Couple minutes.
But the point is
Oh
that
yeah,
he,
couple minutes.
Shut up, my family. Give
point
me
is-
3 minutes,
the point
and I'll
is-
be over it.
the point is that he essentially immediately forgave them, and he wasn't mad.
And
Here's the thing. Emotions are okay. You can be mad. You can be pissed.
We should-
And you can also express that. It's also healthy
Yeah.
to express all that type of stuff.
Yep.
The moment you try to suppress it and say, no, you shouldn't be mad about this.
No,
That's
I'm not saying
bad
that they
shit
shouldn't be
happens.
mad though, because it's natural to be mad too. That's in your nature too, to be mad.
the only way
We're
we can
human. We can't not be mad when someone fucks our girlfriend.
the only way we can get over
We
this.
can't help it.
The
Going
only way we
back
can
to
get over
fucking-
this is
We
we
can't
have
help
to,
it.
The only way we can get over this is we have to like rape Paul. Like we have to do something really dramatic to Paul,
Yeah.
and then see how he handles it.
He wants to rape you.
I'm sure I would be upset
And then, but then go.
because that's in my nature.
But then go, Paul. Like, don't be mad at us. Like, we're programmed to do that.
We're programmed to rape you.
We're programmed to rape you and like laugh at you afterwards.
But I'm also programmed to be mad at you.
For how long?
This is just making
For
a
as long
huge
as I
ass
want.
circle. We're back to fucking square one.
Like, I don't even know. How do you even have a conversation with this guy? Like, but how do you even get anywhere with that conversation? He wants to take accountability away from everybody.
Oh wait, so what about the idea of
hold
oh
on.
yeah, so this guy.
Hold on. My point about the whole scenario about
I have another example.
Yeah, but no, the whole point about my whole scenario about like where you go from all that and you do all that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So who decides all this?
We all collectively do.
Ugh, bad decision. It's called
The
communism.
billions of people on the planet, or is it per country, per state?
Oh, actually, it collectively will make a bad decision probably because.
and then
Yeah.
do people get voted into this, or is it like are they just assigned?
Here's the thing: we have a really, really, really good
It would be
system.
impossible. It would be
What do you
impossible.
mean we have a good system?
We have a fucking
We have the most incarcerated people.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
wouldn't say good
stand by
I
on
wouldn't
that.
say good system.
We
but-
have okay. What's a better system? Communism?
okay.
Didn't say that either.
Hold,
Wait,
didn't,
can
yeah,
I
we didn't
give
say
my-
that. But we don't have a good system. We don't have a good system.
We have a very good system. We have a very, very complicated and fucking
Like I don't think anybody would say we have a good
durable
system.
judicial.
Anyways?
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's
we have
like
a good. Oh, you're talking about the prison system or just the government?
I'm
in
talking
general?
about like the way that the Western civilization functions. There are plenty
doesn't
of flaws.
seem too good to me.
There are plenty. That's because you have never lived in fucking North Korea. Go live
I'm
over.
not talking about a dictator, a military dictatorship.
Yeah,
But
you
what
went
about?
from the big extreme.
I mean, what about?
How
Like,
about
you
somewhere
know,
in the middle there? Okay,
Okay, so-
don't go to a dictatorship where they don't have food and they like.
How about Venezuela?
Okay,
Guess where else has fucking free housing and free health care in their
Switzerland?
constitution?
How
South
about
Africa.
How about Switzerland?
How about South Africa?
They seem cool.
Yeah, it's in the
Elon Musk.
Let me tell you something. Just because you write it down on paper or legislate it into law doesn't mean it makes it or makes it exist. That's for fucking sure.
All right, so what,
I feel like we're
okay.
jumping around.
So what about this guy that has epilepsy? So he has seizures, right?
Okay.
A couple hundred years ago, they I'm plagiarizing all of this from Dr. Robert Sapolsky. But
Okay.
so this guy has seizures, and he.
I think I heard about this.
He. So you think he's possessed by the devil a couple hundred years ago?
Well, yeah. Well, people just the only reasoning they had, or the only thing anybody could think of, was be like, "Oh, he must be possessed."
Okay, just like the only reasoning we have is like, oh, he must be a bad person. Let's put him in jail. So this person's having a seizure, so we think he's possessed by the devil.
Well, he just threw that in there and didn't let me respond. But
This
go ahead.
person's possessed by the devil, so we have to burn him. Of course, that's the only thing we have to do. So just like now, we have to. This person's a bad person, so we have to throw him in jail and let him rot in jail because he's a bad person. But what if there's another explanation? Just like with epilepsy, it was he has epilepsy. He's not possessed by the devil.
So-
and just like he's not a bad person, he has some sort of programming issues.
So if there's another
Do
neurological,
you get mad at
there's
your
another-
computer when it gets a virus?
if there's another explanation, then we need to research and study
Programming
the other
issues.
options.
We're talking about
They're their
crimes
ideas.
and then mental health issues. These
Yeah,
are totally different things.
Yeah, you're going extreme. Like if there's other reasons for people's actions and what they do, then we need to study those.
Yeah.
And not just go, hey, we should just assume that they're not responsible for them. You've jumped. You like missed all the middle ground and just go, hey, let's just decide they're not responsible for it. How about study and figure out if
I
they
need
are?
I need to jump across the middle ground to get you guys to look at the middle ground. So I need to be over on this side, and then we can try to.
I don't know about that.
Research and figure out what's. The
Well, we're
real
not
problem
scientists. So we need to like just
No,
send, we
again,
need to
we're
send
not
some letters
experts.
to people and say, hey, you guys need to figure these
You know,
things
we
out.
need,
The
we need
letter.
to have a guest on. You know who we need to have on?
Dr. Robert.
Someone really
Sapolsky.
smart.
Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. That's the psychology professor from Canada.
Yeah, and you think he'll agree with me or no?
I actually don't think he'll agree.
He'll agree with me. He might not. We should have
He'll
on
agree
Dr.
with-
Robert Sapolsky.
I'm sure he'll agree. I'm sure he'll agree with you like partly. Like I'm sure he'll say things like it's not as extreme as they're not responsible, but we need to take into account that these 100 different things go into their responsibility or into their actions. I mean, like their genetics, the way they're raised, the country they grew up in, their living, their education, all those things go into it. It's not just not responsible.
Name.
They're
Oh,
not-
God.
they're-
We're
they're
either
not
going to be
gonna-
attacked by you're going to be attacked by trolls, by SJW. We're just going to be attacked. I love the
Yeah.
internet. The internet is the wild, wild west, and I hope it always stays that way because you can always
Yeah,
expect something
I hope it
interesting.
does stay that way. It might
Yeah,
not.
but I think to end this, since we were talking about politics, we were talking about religion. We love all you guys. Thank you for listening. And this has been the KAP
thanks
Show.
for listening.
The KAP Show.